Hi there, Dr. Gary on the road. We sell dental practices nationwide. We're dental practice brokers. Today's topic is case study. Seller has been trying to sell the practice for a year and a half. 2 letters of intent were given and the deals didn't go through. Now a 3rd letter of intent has come through. What will happen? We'd like to give you the info on this and so you see what happened. So we are now in 27 states. We've been doing this for 12 years. I was a dentist for 25 years. And we are growing and very excited with our 2 CPA accountants, 10 employees, 2 CPA accountants, marketing director, an operations director, and 5 development acquisition people. We're very excited. We're working 363 days a year. You can reach us from 7:30 a.m. on the East Coast till 9:30 p.m. We do pick up the phone. And the information you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes only. It is not legal or business advice. If you're a seller, want to sell to a DSO, please give us a call. We're independent. We could pick and choose which DSOs we think are best for you. Most of them will pay our commission, so there's no commission to you. And the legal fees can sometimes be reimbursed based on criteria upon successful closing, sometimes. So that can be done too, so please give us a call. Anyway, here's the case study. The doctor's been trying to sell the practice year and a half, whatever. And they didn't mind staying about a year and a half longer after closing, which is great. They said, I'd like to work, I want to stay on. And over the last year and a half, we've had 2 letters of intent. The first letter didn't go through. It was a good dollar amount, but it didn't go through because of contractual issues. We could not agree on some contractual issues. Even though we had great attorneys, we couldn't agree. So then a few months later, another letter of intent came through. And mind you, the interest rates are still the same. It hadn't risen up too much. It's just recently they've gone up. But the next one came through. We couldn't agree on price. We just couldn't agree. The buyer was staying still and the seller was staying still. I understand that. But meanwhile, the seller wants to sell the practice. The buyer wants to get in. The seller will stay a year and a half. But suddenly, that practice didn't go through. That was price we couldn't agree on. Now, time passes more, and I just got a letter of intent recently. I don't know how the seller's going to react. I know the buyer's going to get approved for the loan. They're pretty solid. I don't know and then the bid came in, and it was lower than the seller was expecting. In fact, it was close to close to the previous bids, but a little lower. And now we're in a rising interest rate environment. So it's becoming less affordable. So now we're into this for a year and a half. Seller wants to stay less than the year and a half they promised. Maybe they'll stay 6 months or something. So that changed. The buyer has to pay more per month. I don't know how the seller's going to react. The seller can look back at the old letters of intent and said, maybe I should have accepted those. And back then, they wanted to stay for a year and a half. Now it's changing. Maybe only 6-8 months they want to stay. They do want to stay. So I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to have to talk to this seller. We're going to present the letter of intent. We hope the seller comes within reason. Because what are your expectations? If 2 letters of intent came through and it didn't, and now the 3rd letter of intent, and the interest rates are higher, and now you're going to get less money than you probably expected in the past, you got to, at one point, you've got to realize, well, for many years, you've gotten profit out of the practice, and you want to sell it for X dollars because you're fixated on a number, but previously, all those years, you got your benefit out of it. Maybe you won't get as much benefit right now, and you've been working for another year and making money. Maybe it's time to just sell. Maybe this is the market. Practices sell for market value, what this buyer is willing to pay, what this seller is willing to let it go for, and what the banks are willing to lend. That's your number. That's what a practice is worth. I don't know what's going to happen now. We just delivered the letter of intent recently, and we hope that the seller comes around. Maybe the buyer will negotiate a little bit. Don't know. It's hard on us. We've been sitting on this thing for a while. We want the best for the buyer, the best for the seller, and we don't want to lose another buyer. So I don't know when the next one's going to come around, and I don't know what the interest rate's going to be. So it's a case study. We hope that the seller kind of lowers their expectations, the buyer increases a little bit what they want to pay, and we hope we can put a deal together. We'll have to see. But this happens on a day-to-day basis. We'd like to give you the real live action, what happens on day-to-day. And let's see if we have reasonable buyers and reasonable sellers, and we'll try to put something together. Great talking to you, and we'll hope to speak to you soon. Bye.